Hi friends, today we are going to discuss another design pattern called retry pattern. Now this is a very simple pattern with a very profound effect it can have on your system. So for example, if your application is doing some work and some other application is asking this application to do some work. So this is our target application and this is the source application, and for some reason this API or this work is not done or gives some error. So what you can do, there are three scenarios that can happen. You can cancel the request, that is abort the thing that you're trying to do and display an error to the user. Another thing that you can do is retry. What you can do is you can retry sending that same request to the application with the assumption that the error in previous case was a transient error or a temporary error, and when you basically try again it is going to give you success. That is also possible. So this is the retry pattern, that you are retrying immediately. Another pattern is retry with delay. So rather than retrying immediately, what you can do is you can wait for some amount of time and then make a call with the assumption that your request is going to succeed. And if it succeeds, well and okay. Otherwise, if it does not succeed, you can again retry with some delay. You can either keep a constant delay, for example, let's say after every 2 seconds, you can retry, or you can take an exponential approach, or normal approach also. You can do a retry after 1 second, then you can retry after 2 seconds, then you can retry after 3 seconds, then you can retry after 4 seconds. That means first retry was done at t seconds, then t plus 1 second, then t plus 3 seconds. That is after 2 seconds. You are then trying after t plus 3 seconds, and then you are trying after t plus 6 seconds, right? So you are basically adding some time in your delays, or you can just, or what you can do is, there are multiple strategies. You can also do t plus 2 seconds, t plus 3 seconds. It's a constant delay that you have added. 1 second, you are trying every 1 second. Or you can do exponential delays also, that first request is retried after 1 second, then 2 seconds, then 4 seconds, then 8 seconds, then 16 seconds, like that. You can also do that. So it all depends on your use case that you're trying to solve. And these are the broad categories of functionalities that you can avail. Cancel is basically where those cases where you cannot retry, or the system is not written in such a way that it can handle retries. For example, if it is doing some work, because it is always possible that even if you're retrying, even if the application returned some error to you, it returned some error, or even if it didn't return any error, it was a timeout. Let's say it was a timeout. So it is possible that application has already done the work that you had asked it to do, but was unable to return appropriate response. So if this application or this target application does not support retries, or does not have a functionality where retries are idempotent, then it is going to lead to double work or unnecessary work. So you have to adhere to the functionalities that T1 provides, and you have to calculate, or you have to find out whether you want to cancel the request after one failure, or whether you want to retry it, or whether you want to retry it with a delay. Some of the examples of cancel scenario is where you don't want to retry is, for example, if there was a 401 return, or it was unauthorized return for a particular API. So you made a particular request, and you got unauthorized. So this, in unauthorized response, that means your token is invalid, right? So retrying with the same token is not going to be any beneficial. So what you have to do is you should cancel that request, or you should, if possible, you can retry it with a fresh token. That is also possible. And when your systems are basically, when there is a transient delay, for example, your request was rejected due to, let's say, internet issues or network packet issues, so you can immediately retry the request. But if your request has been rejected due to the target server being overwhelmed with requests, or any downstream system, for example, if the target system's database was overwhelmed with requests, then in those cases it is best to retry with delay. And whenever you are retrying, or your request has been rejected and you have to retry, so it is always good to have a good logging in your application. So you should keep logs of that request was rejected, retrying, and if possible you can also send metrics about this API request and response, that these many requests have failed. And if, for example, let's say you are doing 4 retries, so you can keep logging all the 4 retries without raising an alert. You should raise an alert that API is giving error only when all the 4 retries have been exhausted. This way you will be able to separate out, or you will be able to weed out the false alerts which happen due to transient failures. For example, there may be cases where you get occasional very few 5x's that can be due to transient failures, and that can be handled using retries. Raising an alert on those failures which can be handled by retries will help you reduce your noises in alerts. So what you should do is you should raise an alert when all your retries have been exhausted, or large number of retries are being done in your system. So you should also keep track of metrics, that on an average how many retries are being done in your system. That can give you a better visibility of your system performance. And if the frequency of retries have increased, that means it can be possible that there is some issue. It can be possible that the downstream system is being overwhelmed due to some reason. It can be overwhelmed if not configured properly. Your retries can overwhelm the system. So you should configure your retries as per your target system's performance, as per your target system's application. Now, as we have discussed, the behavior of retries depends on your use case. If you have a very fast serving use case, for example, if you have a mobile application which is dependent on latencies, which is highly affected by the latencies, then having retries in your application can impact the user experience. Though it is debatable, but hear me out. If, for example, you're getting errors from your target application, then according to the fail fast approach, what you can do is you can send or show error to the user. That way user will be able to see the error. It is also debatable that you can retry from mobile applications also. But when you have service to service integration, or cron based or batch job based integration, what you need is you can have retry configured in your application. They should ideally be retries with delays, so that if target application has been overwhelmed or if target application has crashed, then delay can stop that target application from being overwhelmed by different services. So that is, either you can do fail fast or you can retry. As we already know, having a very aggressive retry and retry policy can overwhelm your target application. So you should be sensitive about target application when you are building retries in your system. And most of the libraries that you use provide retry functionality, and you can just write a wrapper code over whatever task that you want to do, and you can write the retry functionality in your target wrapper, in your wrapper code, so that anyone who wants to do particular piece of work can get the functionality, retry functionality out of the box using your wrapper library. Now you can also combine retry functionality with circuit breaker. What happens is, in this pattern is, you can have your service S1 which is making request to T1. For example, if a particular request fails, then what you can do is, either you can continuously retry sending or calling your target application, and they may fail if the target application is down, and continuously sending retry traffic to the target application can overwhelm the already crashed application, because it is going to get lots of retries from the different services. So what you can do is, you can stop sending the traffic for some amount of time. That is, you can open the circuit breaker. Now this is the circuit breaker we have already discussed, but hear me out for a quick revision, that you can stop sending the request for some amount of time. So all the requests, all the incoming requests in which you had to call target application would be getting errors. This is okay, but you are gracefully degrading your service, and this is the circuit breaker open state. You are not sending traffic to the target application. What you can do is, after a particular amount of time, you can start sending some traffic to check whether target application has come back online or not. Now this is called half open state, where you are sending, let's say, 50% of the traffic. To check whether this application has come back online or not. And if the application is back online, what you can do is, you can close the circuit breaker so that all the requests start going to your target application and your system comes back online. You can also have another state in which what you can do is, you can have a completely open circuit breaker, and you are just sending very few health check, or you are sending, let's say, 0.1% of request to your target application. These requests which are being passed through the circuit breaker are going to act as a health check to check whether target application is up or not. If it is up, it is going to gradually increase the traffic. So for example, it is going to first of all 0.1%, then you can increase to 1%, then you can increase to 5%. Like that, you can gradually increase the traffic to the point where it reaches 100%. And if at any point the target application starts to misbehave again, you can similarly open your circuit again. That means you can again revert back to 0.1% and then follow the same process of gradually increasing the traffic again. This whole activity spans across some time, so that at any point you are not overwhelming your target application. This is called circuit breaker pattern, and the circuit breaker is open when you're not sending any request. It is similar to the physics circuit breaker, where open means that your current is not flowing, and closed means that your current is flowing. And half open, though not in physics, but half open means that some of the requests are passing through and some of the requests have been stopped from being sent to the target application. Now coming back to our main retry pattern, whenever we are doing retry pattern or implementing retry pattern, we have to ensure that our application or the action that we are trying to do should be idempotent, so that when it is repeated again, it is not going to lead to an inconsistent state in our system. It should not lead to double work being done. It should not lead to business loss. So for example, if if your user application is asking to book a ticket to your server, this is the target server, and it is asking to book a ticket. Let's suppose the ticket was booked, but its response was not sent, or its response got corrupted in its journey back to the user mobile. What is going to happen if it was an blind retry pattern was implemented in the mobile, what it would have done is it would have again sent a request to book the ticket, which would lead to double booking and revenue loss for the customer or for the company. So you should always use idempotent systems when having retry pattern in your system. Now, you should not do blind retries. Whenever your application is interacting with your target application can return exceptions or error codes, and depending on these error codes, you can decide whether that error code is retriable or not. So, one way to do that is, rather than having the retry context on the basis of error codes in the source application, target application can send response headers, and it can basically send retry equals true or false, depending whether the response was retriable, the error code is retriable or not. That is going to abstract out the retry context out of the application, and any application that wants to integrate with the target application can readily get a context of whether a particular error code is retriable or not. That is also possible. So in this case, you have to understand the target application and its response and request. In microservice architecture, generally these microservices are orchestrating or interacting with one another to do a larger level workflow. So this is worker 1, 2, 3 and 4. Request was sent to worker 1, which did some work, and then it sent the request to 2, then it did some work, it sent the request to 3, and then it did some work, and after that it sent the request to worker 4. Now let's suppose this request fails. What is going to happen is, in this scenario, one of the option is you can start the compensating transaction to reverse the work done by the 3 workers before worker 4. So you will have to follow the compensating transaction workflow, which is going to compensate for the work that has been done till now. Other way is, if this action or if the work provided by worker 4 is retriable, what you can do is worker 3 can retry or retry with delay to try to complete the work or to try to complete the workflow, so that whole of the transaction or whole of the workflow can succeed. This is going to help make your system more efficient, and it is going to save you from initiating the return workflow or compensating transaction for the work that has been done till now. So it is going to improve your overall system efficiency. So it is going to improve your overall system efficiency. Now, different systems are interacting with one another, and it is going to create a mesh-like logic of how the microservices interact with one another. So whenever you are implementing retry flow, it should be properly tested, and there can be cases where race conditions can occur. So all these cases should be thoroughly tested in design phase as well as in coding phase, so that bugs can be found out early, because it can be prone, retry flow can be prone to edge cases also. Now all services are acting independently. There can be cases where this service is calling this service, and then this service is calling this service, and when you are calling this service has implemented retries, and this service has also implemented retries. So for example, if worker 3 goes down, what is going to happen is, W2 is for any request that has been received, W2 is going to retry that request, and once all the retry fails, then W1 is going to send another request. W1 is going to send another request, then W2 is also again going to send the retries. Then since W1 is going to retry again, then also W2 is going to retry. Here you can see that for each retry, there is bombardment of retries on another service. So having complete workflow knowledge is very important to decide whether you want to build retries at a particular layer or not. It can be also possible that rather than having retries at this layer, you can have retries at some other layer which can handle complete workflow logic. So having complete workflow logic and knowledge is very important when you are building retry pattern. There can be some cases where retry pattern, it is better to not retry and let your service degrade gracefully or follow some other path. For example, if your service is going to connect to service 2 via this link, let's say red is the link. So this can be a particular tunnel that you have created between these two services. They can be in different cloud providers. And this is one of the links, and all the requests are being sent on this link, and it may be possible that the requests that are going through this link can fail. It is possible that either service 2 is down. In that case, you can use circuit breaker pattern to control the traffic flow between service 1 and service 2. It can be also possible that the link between these two services has broken. It is always possible that the connection between these two clouds has broken. So in this case, either you can do degradation of your service, that graceful degradation of your service, that you are sending only, let's say, 50% or 40% traffic, and out of that 20% of traffic is being served correctly and rest traffic is being dropped. So in this case, your application is going to serve 20% traffic. This is degradation of service. Other thing you can do is this degradation has been followed using circuit breaker pattern, that you are intentionally not sending the request and knowing that there is some issue in the direct connect or the direct connection between these two clouds. Other way is you can have an alternate service. What generally happen is there are alternate services or alternate lines between two cloud providers. So you can switch your traffic from red line to orange line. In this way, you can mitigate the traffic, or if you can have, rather than having different direct tunnels between these two clouds, you can also have a backup service S2 dash, which has limited functionalities. So you can route some percent of traffic to S2 dash, and you can run your application S1 in degraded mode so that it is only powering some of the functionalities till the time main S2 service comes back up online. So these are the type of decisions that you have to take depending on what your use case is, what your infrastructure is, and what your design is. In conclusion, retry pattern is helpful when the failure in your requests are transient and they can be retried and the work that is being done is idempotent. But if your failures are not transient, they are complete failures of your service. There can be business use cases where you cannot retry. In those cases, you cannot use retry pattern. In some cases, let's say you have auto scaling issues or scalability issues. In those cases, also retry pattern is not going to solve your issue. You will have to scale up your service as per your demand to handle the traffic that is being sent. Retry pattern can help mitigate very few of the cases in auto scaling, scalability issues. But generally, you will have to scale your infrastructure for solving these issues. They won't be solved by retry pattern. So that's all for the retry pattern. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know your views and comments. Thank you and have a nice day.